Well, hallelujah. The sun is shining, and today we are sporting our caps, our pre-PT caps, which we are actually giving one of these away today, as well as some earbuds.
Yeah.
So you can be just like Will and I. But welcome, everyone. Today, I think, is probably the sunniest, brightest day we've had so far on this series. And therefore, I'm super excited to have this bright, sunny physical therapist, Dr. Will Campion.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday. It's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day. So, Will, we'll jump straight in before we sort of get into some introduction and see who's out there listening. It's a beautiful day. You've obviously we've all got through a really challenging year. Tell me one or two of the highlights of your last year. I mean, I can tell you all the bad things, but tell me a couple of good things that have happened in the last year to you.
Good things. Well, I had a son 6 months ago, so got baby Miles in our life. He's keeping us busy, enjoying a lot of time with him. Can't be happy enough. It's a game changer. It's pretty awesome.
It's awesome. And the nice thing is that it looks like we'll get through all of this and Miles won't even remember that there's a pandemic, even though he'll probably always be called a COVID baby.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome to see him smile and move. So he's definitely brought some sunshine into our lives.
It's awesome. I'm really happy for that. So for people out there who are listening, today is your day that you can ask Will anything that you would like, especially some 3 key topics we're going to talk about today are strength training, meditation or mindfulness, and pizza. So I love that pizza is one of the things that we're going to talk about. So if you're out there listening, please let us know who you are, because then you will actually go in for an extra drawing for our giveaways. If you want to follow us and see who's up in the following weeks, there's our website below, performanceptri.com/live. But please, we'd love to hear from you and love to hear what your questions are. So fire away, people. So let's start with the boring stuff, Will. And not that it's boring, but let's start with, I just think that pizza is going to be more exciting.
Yeah.
We can talk about that. But let's start with strength training.
Okay.
About, at this stage, the days are getting longer, people are getting outside, and we're certainly seeing people walk and run and bike and doing all the cardiovascular work. I think it's easier at this time of the year to get outside and do things. So how does strength training, how should that fit into people's routine to optimize their muscle mass and their overall health?
I guess it kind of breaks down to, what's their goal, what's their time frame. We want to make it easy. We want to make it simple. But then it is working out. So it's going to be some work, and you got to put that commitment in. You got to make the time. You may have to change your schedule a little bit, get up early. So based on, what your goals are, that's going to be the huge factor. If you're looking just to kind of get in, burn a few calories, feel good, get a little sweat, you're not worried about getting stronger, to a certain degree, or hypertrophy and gaining mass, but you just want to get a workout in and feel good, you could get away with a couple times a week, 2, 3. If you're looking for certain types of goals and looking to compete in a lift or any sort of competition, you may need a little bit more time where you're devoting like 3, 4, 5 days plus into the gym, where you get a kind of like focus on certain muscle groups, certain movements. You have those recovery days where you're getting in your foam roller, your soft tissue work, your tissue prep work, all that stuff. So it's based to the individual and what their needs are. But the more you move, the better, right? We want people out there. We want people moving. We want them to be active. So whatever they could give us, that's the best part. I would say if you could do 2, 3 days a week, do it. If you could do 1 day, do it. If you could do every day, do it.
I think that what I'm hearing from you too is that the positive impact that exercise has on your health is exponentially improves. So the more you do, the better impact it has on your health. Although obviously at some point that is going to plateau off. If you lifted weights all day, every day, that's not going to be good for you. But yes, if you can do 2 days a week, you're going to maintain your strength and you're going to be a healthy person. However, if you do more than that, you're going to get some other benefits. What are all the benefits for strength training from a personal standpoint?
From a personal, it means I could eat more food. I could eat more pizza, right? Makes me hungrier, so I could eat more. But honestly, it's just a great feeling. It makes, I think going back to what Big Daddy Horton was talking about a few sessions ago, I think pushing yourself through a workout, being mentally tough, it makes everything else easier throughout the course of the day. I mean, there's so many times you're out on a run, you're lifting something and it just seems like, oh man, I can't go any further. I'm tired and fatigued, and you push through that and it's just like, man, look at it, I accomplished that. And then you run into those same things throughout the course of your day, like, oh, I don't want to write this essay, or I can't see any more people coming in the store, or whatever it is. And you got past your workout and you push through it, and now you're able to say, hey, I can push through this and get through it. So it's really just that being able to drive through stuff. It's a stress reliever. Did I mention you could eat more food, because that's always a plus?
Absolutely.
And you chase goals. It gives you something to work for. It keeps you humble. If you want to lift weights, you can either lift it or you can't lift it. So it keeps you humble. It keeps you honest. You can only run so far. It gives you something to work towards. So that goals, it's a good thing.
Yeah. I really like the way it would have been easy for us to jump on and say, oh yeah, it maintains muscle mass, and that's good for decreasing your risk of osteoporosis, and it helps support your joints and all of those things, and it increases your metabolism. Like, there's a whole lot more to it when you can find a kind of exercise that you like. And for you, it's strength training and lifting, and it helps your mind as well. It helps you be a better person because you're using it as something you enjoy to do. And it's so great when people can find the kind of exercise that they enjoy to do, because you're basically a double whammer. Number one, it's good for your overall health and well-being, and it's going to prevent chronic disease and blah, 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 all the things we've talked about in previous shows. But you're putting it into another scene. Like, no, this makes me a happier, more successful person. Like, I can get through the day. I feel humble. I feel strong. I feel like I can accomplish things. And I think that in this day and age, when we have a lot of stress going on in the world, it's nice to find forms of exercise that we can get that kind of pleasure in.
Yeah, I mean, you get the community aspect. If you're out there running, you get extra runners. You get a running group going. Just a nice way to stay in that group atmosphere and see people and have some fun.
Where are you doing your strength training currently, Will?
Right here at 426.
Perfect. And do you like to strength train with other people? Do you like to do it alone? Like, how do you like to work out?
I don't mind doing it alone, but I love having a couple people in the gym. I like having the energy in the gym. It kind of pushes you through some certain aspects. So if say that you're struggling, you're kind of a little slow, maybe it went out last night and you're not quite feeling the lifts, and you see that energy coming off of someone else, you could kind of feed off that, and that could push you through your lift. And also, you're like, wow, man, that was like one of the best lifts I've had in years. Or that conditioning workout when you're dragging, you look to the left or right, and those people are busting butt, and you're like, I got to catch up to that person right there. So, I like having people around when you're doing it. It helps drive you, helps keeps you focused, keeps you moving.
Mm-hmm. Have you competed before?
Nothing on larger stages, just small local things, but nothing too crazy. Just kind of do it for mental wellness, and like I said, just to have fun.
So let's jump onto that mental wellness part. And with that, strength training and meditation or mindfulness seem to be at different ends of the spectrum, which I think is cool. That means you're cool to be able to put those two together. Let's talk about the role that mindfulness or meditation plays in your sort of overall routine of exercising and wellness.
I think it's a huge part. When you just going back to that mental toughness, right? So that's one of those benefits of that mindfulness, is getting through those workouts and making that bond. Being able to push through that pain and everything like that. But also as far as like sense of awareness, if you look at, there's some research articles, there's some trainers that focus on, time under tension and letting people pause at bottom of the workout, or if you're doing a back squat per se, and you're pausing at the bottom, so you can really feel where you're supposed to feel that tension and load. So mindfulness is good. You got to see the lift, you got to visualize the lift, you got to visualize the run, and just putting that in perspective, gives you a better chance of success when you're lifting or when you're running or doing anything.
I like the way you describe that, because so much people hear mindfulness or meditation and they think it's sitting in the corner with bells ringing, doing nothing. rather than mindfulness is so much more about being in that moment and being aware of your body and being in control, and having that awareness rather than, oh yeah, I'm thinking about what my kids are while I'm lifting. No, you're going to think about how your muscles and what you're doing about breathing and where your mind is at.
Breathing has a huge component of it, focusing on your breaths, making sure that you're recovering, make sure you're not breathing too fast when you're doing conditioning workouts, make sure you're holding your breath well when you are doing heavier lifts, stabilizing your spine, being aware of your alignment and your angles. Those are all things about being mindful when you're out there and you're lifting and you're conditioning or running.
So we did put out a survey. We asked people, how easy is it to remember how to breathe when you're strength training? Is it super easy, or I need some tips? And here is what you all said, is 60% of people said they need some tips. So, Will, what do you have to say for those people who are out there saying, yeah, I forget about the breathing part? How do you get people, is there a certain strategy? Breathe in, breathe out, hold my breath. How should people be thinking about that when they're lifting weight?
So I would say before they, whatever the movement is, whatever they're doing, kind of visualize a little bit, right? Get an idea in your mind, either watch a video or just mentally imagine the movement, whether it's a squat, whether it's jumping, running, whatever it is, visualize that. Focus on your breathing, making sure you're aware of your body and the movements that it's going to go through. A lot of people sometimes will get all amped up and they're slapping the chest and getting all, too pumped up, and then next thing you know, they're breathing really, really fast. So just controlling your breathing and making sure that you've got a good breath in, you got a good breath out, and then address whatever movement it is, whether it's the deadlift, squat, press, whether it's running, jumping, whatever it is, but just being aware of the movement and what you feel in your body. And then as you go through that, keep that in mind. As you drop down into a lunge, make sure that you're feeling the tension, not just in the quads, make sure you're feeling it in the glutes, the hamstrings. So make sure you're feeling that time under tension in the right spots, making sure that you're stabilized and holding that breath, that you're not sucking in and letting your spine get a little loose or sloppy. And then breathing out when you're appropriate. And obviously, depending on the movement or the sport, that breath of when to inhale, exhale changes a little bit. So if you guys have certain questions, contact your PTs and we could guide you through, because we love movement. We love watching people move, and we want people to move with purpose and efficiently. And I think PTs are a great resource to work with trainers, to work with strength coaches, and make someone efficient with breathing, with movement based on their leg lengths, their limb lengths, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think people often forget that breathing is bringing in oxygen, and that is, as well as pizza, oxygen is also part of the fuel to keep you moving. So you've got to get that steady stream of oxygen coming through. And if you're a breath holder and not aware of your breath, it is going to impact your ability to lift and perform at the optimal capacity.
I'm just not sure what's more important, the breath or the pizza yet, but.
So we have a question from Jamie. Jamie's asking if you've got limited on time. I love this question because it comes up so often. Which is better, strength training or cardio?
Maybe a little bit of both, right? We know that we need muscles to burn fats, to have that fuel, that furnace going. So sometimes people will get too caught up in one or the other, where we just do a lot of strength training and then we see too many similar movement patterns. Everyone loves to do their favorite exercise, right? It's the exercises that we don't love to do that we need to do. So I would say a little bit of a combination. So Jamie, I know it's gonna be a little bit tough to mix them in all maybe in a week or a day, but don't always think about like, I have to get this done in a week or a day. You could split that up and just continuously rotate that. Maybe one day you're doing a strength, and the next day you get a chance to work out again, whether it's 2 days, 1 day, whatever it is. Maybe make that a cardio day and split it up that way. If you're worried about getting full body, so maybe you do a full body day on a Monday. You can't get back into the gym until a Tuesday or next week. Maybe you do a run or a cardio, but keep that kind of variable going where we're not just doing one and we're cycling through the different types of strength and cardio, because they're better together, right? If you have the ability to breathe, you're going to be better underneath the bar, or when you're doing strength training, the stronger you are, the less you're going to break down mechanically likely when you're doing that cardio component.
I like the better together. It comes up in so many things in life, but yeah, strength and cardio, stick in some balance and mindfulness and some pizza, put them all together and it's magic.
That's it.
How about the high intensity training? Are you doing much of, I'm going to do some squat followed by, some cardio, jumping jacks, back to this. How do you incorporate that into your routine, or do you like to split them up and, today's more cardio versus today's more strength?
I love them all. Honestly, with COVID and the masks and everything, I really, really cut back on a lot of the interval training, the HIIT stuff, the CrossFit stuff, just because it's so difficult to breathe. And I focused more on strength recently, but now that things are starting to ease back up and we're having some ability to get out of the masks, I think getting back into conditioning. I love a good conditioning workout. Coach O over here puts together some good, conditioning classes. So getting in there and getting a good sweat out. I like to do a little bit of a component where maybe depending on the cycle, I'll have some strength days and then I'll have a conditioning day. And then in between those, maybe I'll throw in some old man cardio, whether it's the elliptical or going for a run or something like that. So keeping it focused, unless there's like a specific goal you're set for where you want to do more strength training or more conditioning, but mixing it up. A couple of days of strength, a couple of days of conditioning, and then a couple of days of cardio. Too much conditioning, we can't recover from it. We need to be able to handle what we take in as far as workouts go. So,
such a great message. I do want to pull you up on something that you said. You said old man cardio, and you running.
No, well, I call old man cardio, not to offend anybody, but it's just a term that I like to call for elliptical. Just hopping on the elliptical mindfully, just kind of going through low intensity, long duration, just sweating out whatever, staring off into space, listening to something on a podcast or some music or Netflix or whatever. So that's my old man cardio. Running, not so much old man cardio, because you could definitely get that a little bit more intense, but hopping on the elliptical is my definition of some old man cardio. No offense to anybody.
No, I was actually, as a middle-aged woman about to turn 50 who runs a lot, I was like, oh, does this mean I'm doing old lady cardio? And
No. Running doesn't fall into that.
Don't worry. There's some old lady runs I sometimes go on where I'm like, I'm not going to let people on Strava see how slow that one was. I'll delete that workout. Yes, it's funny how pressure plays a role. Chelsea Ann, dear Chelsea, has a really great question for you, and I think this is going to be a wonderful way to move on to discussing pizza. What's better for your mindfulness, strength training or pizza?
Oh man, Chelsea, I say it kind of depends on the day. I guess, yeah, it depends on the day. I mean, I can't enjoy a good slice without maybe getting a little bit of a workout in. Breathing and kind of focusing in, whether it's some breathing at the end of the day and kind of just unwinding, or breathing in the morning just to get things revved up for the day. I'm going to go strength training. On this one. I think strength training will push everything else together, and I can enjoy everything a little bit more if strength training is going to be my impact.
There you go, Chelsea. You can eat all the pizza in the world and you're just going to start feeling mighty horrible and not very mindful, but strength training, you're going to be fine. So there you go. You've got the choice. So let's talk about this love of pizza that you have. Yeah, tell me about it.
I mean, everyone loves pizza, right? It's fantastic. I mean, from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles eating pizza to Domino's to like whatever, pizza is just amazing. There's nothing like coming home and having hot pizza ready and just eating some slices and kicking back. So I've always loved pizza ever since a kid. I grew up in Connecticut, and they always had a lot of good pizza places floating around Connecticut. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind some of the fast food pizzas and stuff like that, but they had really good pizza. And lucky enough, when I went to New York, I was able to get a couple of jobs in upstate New York and some pizza places, had some really cool bosses, taught me a lot about making pizza, let me eat a lot of pizza. And then one day we went to Malta for our honeymoon. We were walking around Malta, and there was this place, I believe it was called Suds of Italy, or Suds Pizza, and it was a Naples like pizza place in Malta. So we ate there, I think our second night, and I was blown by. It was just amazing Neapolitan pizza. It was so light. You pulled apart the crust and you could see that like matrix inside of it, the smell of it, how light it was. It was beautiful. And it was so clean and so simple. It was just absolutely amazing. So as soon as we got back that night, I called, made another reservation for 2 days later. And we went there, I think 2 or 3 times when we were there for about a week. So we got back to Bristol here, and my wife Jen ended up ordering me this pizza oven, this Uni pizza oven. And then it was like, what is this? This thing's crazy, right? I have a pizza stone. I don't understand. There it is right there, that little sucker right there. So I remember opening it up on my birthday and getting that thing ripping up, and it gets up to like 900 degrees, and it cooks pizzas in like anywhere between like a minute to a minute and a half. The first couple were definitely some charred up pizzas, but once you get the hang of it and you get like the rotation down and you figure out what type of flour to use, you can make some pretty solid homemade, like true Neapolitan style pizzas that are light, flavorful. It's a good time. It's fun. We usually have like people over, we're throwing some darts, hanging out, having a few drinks, just making some pizzas. It's a fun day.
It's awesome. If I was to come over for dinner, you would obviously make me pizza. What kind of pizza would you make?
I'm a simple, we threw in everything. There's always like the fancy ones with the arugula and like figs. I'm a classic, man. And just get me some fresh mozzarella, and we get some basil on there, a little bit of sauce, and we're golden. You want to throw some crushed red pepper flakes up on there to give a little spice. It's beautiful.
All right, so I have a little quiz for you. I mean, let's talk real American pizza.
Real American pizza. Okay, what do we got?
All right, just some questions. What percentage of Americans eat pizza?
Do I get an A, B, or C, or do I just throw this out here?
I'm going to throw it out. I mean, I'll give you could say in the, between 20 and 30%, or 30 and 40, or 80 and 90.
I'm going to have to say 90.
Yeah, it is. 94% of Americans eat pizza, which I think is pretty astounding. How about on game day? How many American households order pizza on Sunday game day?
Sunday game day, I'm going to say 75.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's actually 58%.
All right.
Well, people eat pizza.
You got wings, pizza, dips. Yeah. All right. It could be a little bit lower.
Yeah. What percentage of pizzas ordered have pepperoni on them?
62.
Yeah, it's actually only 36.
Oh, man, I'm failing here. All right.
Because I think that actually your number one pizza is cheese.
Classic cheese.
Yeah, classic cheese. The next one, they actually vegetable pizzas of any kind actually come up pretty high, and then pepperoni. I've got a great question here. This is a very important question. I'm very interested to hear what you think about this, because I have a very strong. What do you think about pineapple on pizza?
It's kind of like dessert pizzas. I don't really think they belong together. I don't mind a pineapple pizza with some nice ham on it, but they should probably, maybe space each other out a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't get the pineapple on pizza.
Yeah.
Bizarre. Very bizarre. Oh, well, I love hearing your pizza stories, and it certainly inspired me. I often look at those pizza ovens and think, should I get one?
The Uni, they make a solid product. It's affordable. Not to plug them in this, but yeah, it's a heck of a little pizza oven. You could do wood fire, you could do coal. It's pretty awesome.
And in this day and age, when we're getting back together with friends and we all still tend to want to be outside, what a great way to socialize and hang out and reconnect with people. Have a pizza party.
Yeah.
So let's go from pizza and jump on mindfulness, something that we were going to talk about, and I think we could have touched on it a little bit more. We got into the breathing. When you talk about mindfulness or meditation, what do you tell your patients about it? How do you educate your patients who are like, well, what the hell are you talking about when you say be mindful or meditate?
I think it gives them a little bit of like, just get them grounded, calm them down a little bit. So, usually people are coming to see us. They're in pain, they're limited in daily activities. There's the added stress of not doing what they want to do, doing it as well. And then, they're taking the time out of their day to do not only their home exercises, but to come see us, 1, 2, 3 times a week, whatever it is. And I think letting them kind of focus, say, hey, listen, like, let's just slow it down, breathe, focus on our movements, even for like a lot of times, instead of holding stretches now for 30 seconds or a minute, whatever it is, I tell them like, let's do 20 breaths, right? So that way they're allowed to feel the stretch, be a little more aware of it. So I think focusing on those breaths and the breathing during the exercises is good, but letting them slow down and say, listen, this is my time. I'm going to put this in now to make everything else better, in a week, 2 weeks, a month, or whatever it's going to be while we get you better and recovered. So slowing things down and saying, I want to get back to X, Y, and Z. I got to do this. It helps. A lot of people come in, they're a little frustrated. Just slowing things down and breathing it out a little bit. Seems good.
Really like that tip. When you are stretching, instead of thinking about, oh, how long should I hold this for? Think, you know what? do 10 breaths. Just breathe in and out and just be in that moment rather than sitting there counting.
Sit, breathe in, feel your ribs expand, feel the tension increase, breathe it out nice and slow. It's a nice way to kind of go through the stretches.
Yeah. And I think too that as you put that mental effort into thinking about your breathing, you learn to appreciate it more and more. Because I hear so many people say to me like, oh, that's kind of weird, or I don't get that. I'm like, just suck it up and do it, man. And once you do it, you'll be like, huh, it wasn't so weird. And then you're like, oh, I kind of feel good afterwards.
Yeah.
And that you just have to think about that so that it reinforces you doing it again and again, just like exercising. Yeah, it might suck when you're out there sweating and running or doing your workout, but remind yourself, how am I going to feel afterwards? And then it's not so bad. Right, I'm looking for some final questions for our wonderful audience out there. And while we're waiting for those, let's see who is going to win our earbuds and our Performance PT hat today. I'm going to put my hat on so that the person who wins is going to feel like they're part of our team, Will. All right, we either Sarah or Nick.
Who do we got?
Is going to tell us who won. Who is it, Sarah?
Hey, okay, the winner for these awesome earbuds is Kathleen Godin.
Oh,
congratulations.
Nice.
Congratulations, Kathleen. Thank you so much. We'll be in touch with you and get those goodies as well to you for other people who are listening. We are here every Thursday through to the summer solstice. And so every Thursday at 1 o'clock, you can catch us on your social media channels, but also at performanceptri.com/live. When you go there, you can also see all the past episodes. You heard Will talk about Big Daddy Horton. So we've had lots of fun characters come on to our show, just like Will, just like Big Daddy Horton. And they've all talked from strength training to yoga and balance to smoothies, all different things, so that you can be the healthiest and in the best condition you can for the summer solstice on June 20th or 21st. I always get that date mixed up, but somewhere in there will be the brightest, sunniest day. Next week, I have my colleague from Down Under joining me, so it will probably be really hard to understand us, but we'll have fun. And we're really going to just talk about pain and what's really causing your pain. We're going to be giving away this very stylish 36-ounce Yeti Rambler. So I'll be joined next week by Jordan Madigan, and I would say that will be an interesting and funny show. So please join in and fire those questions out to Jordan and to what's causing your pain. All right, well, do we have any other last questions? I do not think that we do. So I have a question for you. What are your favorite 3 strength exercises?
Favorite 3? Love back squat. You're underneath that bar and you got to stand up and push through that weight. So back squat's one of them. Deadlift's got to be another one. I mean, there is no lying. You could either pick it up or you can't pick it up. So going in there and being mentally tough, and you could fib a back squat a little bit and go quarter squats or whatever, but there is no lying. And then I love jumping, like box jumps, bounding, any of that stuff is awesome. Jump roping, love it.
I love that. That jumping in there, because I think that that's an area that we often go like, oh no, especially as we get older, it feels a little harder to jump, and maybe that's just me, but I'll say with you, someone asked earlier about when you've got limited time, what do you do? And I'll tell Jamie, this is what I do. I jump rope. I do like 200 jump ropes, and then as many push-ups as I can. And then I jump rope, and then I plank, and then I jump rope. And so within 15 minutes, I'm like, I feel like I've got strength workout done, cardio, jumping, balance. So I feel like I get a whole lot of things done in a very short amount of time. Yeah,
jump rope's awesome. It's good mindfulness exercise. Worked for Rocky, good cardio. Love it.
I don't eat the raw eggs the way that Rocky did.
How about an egg on a pizza? That's beautiful right there. Cook a little egg on the pizza. Nice. Yeah.
Good one. I like that too. All right. Will Campion, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Michelle.
Really nice to see you, since I haven't seen you in well over a year, like many of our colleagues. So part of the reason for doing these podcasts is Lucky Me gets to see people again. The final 15 seconds is yours, Will. Final 15 seconds of advice, or 10 seconds. Let's
10
hear.
seconds. All right. Stay grounded, stay focused. Can't go wrong with getting strong. Fuel in is fuel out. Sleep and recovery are important. And don't forget to smile.
I love it. Thank you, Will.
Thank you.